Everyone, thank you so much for joining PTA Council of PUSD and PUSD Adult Education Instructor Jennifer Pringle for this morning's Canvas training. Thank you again for joining us, and please encourage someone else that you know. Text them right now and tell them to jump on this Zoom meeting right now, and let a parent know how they can log in. This meeting is being recorded and it will be available on our website, ptacouncilpusd.org. I kindly ask that all of you are going to be muted and hold your questions until Jennifer is finished. We anticipate about 100 people being on this Zoom meeting, and we will make sure the link is available. As soon as it becomes available to me, I will send it out. So again, we want to get started and honor your time. Thank you for being on time. And without further ado, I want to introduce you to Jennifer Pringle, Adult Education Instructor, Pasadena Unified School District. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am happy to be here. As she said, my name is Jennifer Pringle. I am, I wear many hats, as many of us do in PUSD. So first thing is I am a PUSD parent and I'm a PTA member, of course. My son is going into 2nd grade. So you might be familiar with this piece of equipment here. This is my son's Chromebook. On that fateful day on March 13th, he came with his Chromebook. I picked him up, he had this ready, and he had his little QR code because he was a 1st grader. So I'm going to show you with that in mind. So I keep elementary parents in mind, and also I am the instructional coach for Pasadena High School. So my role is to support teachers in normally in non-pandemic times and non-remote learning times. I'm in a lot of classrooms. So I'm assisting teachers with curriculum, with technology, with everything they need to connect to students and to do the best job they can professionally. But right now, it's a lot of tech training. So here's what I'd like us all to keep in mind is that my son, going into 2nd, really loves the Magic School Bus. So I don't know about you, if you are familiar with the book series or the TV series, but Magic School Bus. The famous teacher in Magic School Bus is Miss Frizzle. Now, Miss Frizzle is the ultimate teacher, right? She takes the kids on field trips everywhere. They go out into space. They go into somebody's body. They go everywhere. Here's the thing. Miss Frizzle could drive a bus. Think of your teachers, your child's teacher as somebody who is Miss Frizzle who can drive a bus. They're used to driving a bus. They know how to drive the bus. That's what their expertise has been. But right now, we're in a situation where we're asking them to do something completely different. So my analogy for you is to think about a passenger jet, an airplane. They need to learn right now, really quickly, how to fly an airplane. There's a lot of controls. They're in a cockpit. They have all these gauges. They have all this stuff to do. They have everything going on. And for teachers right now, it's a really tough time. And they might be going through some of the same challenges that we all are going through as parents. You know, a lot of our teachers are also parents. A lot of them, I know a couple teachers that I work with who are caring for for family members and other things going on. So we are all in a very challenging space together. So I want you to just make sure that they are doing their best to learn this, but they're learning how to fly a plane right now. So there's a lot of tech that teachers are learning. Here's the good news for us as parents. On the student side, they're just passengers on the airplane. They're going to come onto the airplane. They're going to stow away their bag, buckle their seatbelt, and maybe put their tray table up. For students, it's much smoother. They don't see all the back end of the craziness happening. So I'm going to show you what it looks like for a student to log in, to show you what Canvas is like. Then I'm going to show you what it's like from parent view. So how do parents use Canvas, and how can you use it to support your student and to communicate with your teacher and have a two-way communication and a partnership between you and the teacher. So what I'm doing right now during the rest of my time, actually this meeting is between these trainings and one-on-one and help, is I'm teaching people how to fly a plane. But right now we're just going to be passengers on a plane. So I hope you feel like, okay, we're going on a little trip here. but it's not going to be so bad. So I'll show you right now. I'm going to share a, let's see if I can share. This is just a quick one document. This is actually an Instagram post that's going to go on the PHS Instagram. So you see, welcome back Bulldogs. I'm sorry to people from other schools, but I work at PHS, so I made one graphic for my school. Here's what they need to do as far as a student. Number one, use your Chromebook. So like my child with his Chromebook, or if they're using something else, if you have a computer for them, then they just use the Chrome browser and they use their PUSD.US account. Simple. So if they're logging into Chromebook, Chrome is the only browser. That's the way in. So that's simple, simple, simple. And if they're on another device, let's say they have a fancy Mac. So if I'm using my Apple computer, log into the Mac, make sure I'm not using Safari as the browser, but that I'm using Google Chrome. Google Chrome is a free download if you haven't used it. For me personally, I think it's a good practice to use Google Chrome for everything related to school, and then I can use Safari for my personal things. So I keep my things separate. So Google Chrome is the way to log in. And this is for any student. So that's step one, Chromebook or Chrome browser. Step two is find all your PUSD apps in Clever. So Clever is the way that we have access to all the apps. Everything is organized there. You can get tech help through Clever. I'll show you Clever in a second. So you'll find all your PUSD apps on Clever. And right now we're just talking about one of the apps, and that's Canvas. That's it. That's all they have to do. There's no software to download. There's no requesting permissions. There's nothing. So Canvas right now, because school has not started yet, teachers are working on it. Think about it this way. They're working on their classrooms, just like right now. The doors are not open, but they're in their classrooms working. So students cannot access. They can't open that classroom door yet, but on Monday morning, they'll be able to. So when they go to Canvas, they'll see a dashboard. And that dashboard, if they're secondary, will see all their classes. If they are elementary, they'll see their one class. That's it. So 3 steps: Chrome or Chromebook, Clever. And Clever, if you're in a Chromebook, that's the first thing that opens. It's automatic. And Canvas is the thing that they'll access. So there's no Google Classroom, there's no PowerSchool, there's no email, nothing. It's just those 3 steps. So that's the first thing for students. It's those 3 things. So I hope that that, at least to start with, shows us it's not complicated. In the spring, it was very complicated. I know, and I am a techie person. But I know my son was going into PowerSchool, he was using different apps, going to Flipgrid, going to Epic, do all this stuff. Everything is in Canvas now. So whatever tools that a teacher might be using, let's say it's iReady Math. Or let's say it is Epic for reading, or if it's the Scholastic magazines, or whatever it is, whatever app they use, whatever programs they use, it'll all be housed in Canvas. So that's the great thing. It's a one-stop. Think of it as there's all these books and stuff. They're all in the one classroom. So because we've had a little bit of time to prepare, unlike March. March, there were 40 minutes to prepare. And it was, everybody was in a crazy state. It's still crazy. Things are still hard, but at least we have that. So for live connection with parents, we have Webex now. Webex is wonderful. We actually have real professional software. We were using a free version of Google Meets this spring. And Zoom is a different program, which we're on right now. I used it as a university student, but there's some issues, and I've already heard some start of school horror stories from people. Zoom, there's some control things that our district has decided it's not the best tool for us in terms of safety. So Webex is our but there's nothing to install. There's nothing you have to worry about. It's all housed in Canvas. So I hope you feel a little bit better after a few minutes. I want everybody to take a moment and breathe. There's a friend of mine posted a little picture on Facebook this morning, and he said, you know, tacos fall apart sometimes and we still love tacos. So think about it that way. As a parent, you're gonna fall apart sometimes, but you're still doing okay. And I'm telling teachers the same thing. So at least from the student end, it's just the 3 steps. Go to Chrome, Chromebook, Clever, and Canvas. Okay, I'm going to show you a screen. This is from an actual computer, so not from a Chromebook. So you can see if you're using a computer what it looks like. It looks slightly different, but not too much. Okay. I had to clean up my desktop before starting this because I had so much stuff open. So excuse the mess, please. Okay. So I'm using Chrome as my browser. So I'm not, even though I'm on a Mac, I am not using Safari, just Chrome. And I am logged into my PUSD account. So for a student, they have their PUSD.US account, and that's the one they have to be logged into Chrome with. So just at a glance, you'll see that image. I see it up here too. That's my PUSD account. So that's, like I said, this is from a computer. You can skip this step on a Chromebook. When you're using Chrome logged into your PUSD account, there are Pusd bookmarks in the top left. In that top left, I have teacher things and I have curriculum, but the C is Clever. That's where they find Clever. So it's in the top left, PUSD apps. Now, remember, if your child's on a Chromebook, they don't even need to do that. Clever opens automatically. So this is what Clever is, what I've been talking about. So the first time you use it in a day, in a session, you'll log in. You log in with Google because you're already logged into the Google Chrome browser with your PUSD account. See how here's my son's account. I have a lot of accounts. Make sure you're using your PUSD account to log into Clever. And again, on a Chromebook, you don't even need this step. So in Clever, there's a lot of tools. Remember, I'm looking at it from a district staff viewpoint. A student won't see these same things. They'll see some of them. Some students will see, but mine looks a little more complicated. So here's Canvas LMS. When a student clicks on Canvas LMS, or a teacher for that matter, they'll see a dashboard of courses. These are courses that they're enrolled in. So these are courses for me, since I'm on a different role, the courses that I'm teaching. This one is visible to me because I can put content on it. But what will happen is they'll see their own courses here. These will be automatically populated. There's nothing that they have to do, no extra steps. So if they're elementary school student, they will see one icon. If they're school administration, let's say their principal made a course for everybody, like I made one for the PHS staff. So everybody, all PHS staff sees this, but they'll really just see one for their own teacher. If they have, like if their school made one, they'll see 2. This is for elementary. For high school, depending on how many classes they're taking right now, that's how many icons they'll see. So each of their classes will be one icon. And when they log in, all they do is click once and they're logged in. So that's the process. You see how much more streamlined it is than what we've been dealing with. Something about Canvas that I really like, and I'm very happy that we are on this platform, is especially for secondary. Everybody's using this, so it's one click, everything's in one place. If a student is in high school, if they are taking dual enrollment, if they are taking some college classes, especially if they're at Mirror, because that's what everything, but it's all high schools have that possibility. So let's say they're taking a class at PCC, they're also using Canvas. Their Canvas course, their login is exactly the same. Canvas is the learning management system that's used by the entire California community college system. So every single community college in California is using Canvas already. So I'm glad that our students will have the familiarity with the platform. Also, the Cal State system is using this. So all of the Cal States is using Canvas. For UCs, it depends on which UC. So UCLA has their own and so on. There are other LMSs, but there's also some private colleges that are using it. I know my sister's a professor at University of Redlands, they use Canvas. So it's a pretty standard platform, and the students learning it It's learning that will continue, and their familiarity it's going to make it so that they're not worried about tech. They can actually focus on what they're learning in their courses. Okay, here's a cool thing. Coming up on the right side of the screen, see if I can zoom a little. Okay, so coming up, you see that there is a little icon that shows a calendar. That's going to show an event. Here's something that they need to attend. If there's an assignment, they'll have a little icon that shows like a paper and pencil, so they'll see assignments. This will be sorted by the date and time. So all the meetings are going to be here. So if they log in, they don't know what to do. They think, I have 6 teachers, what do I even do? The first thing will be here. It'll be in order. So keeping track of a schedule, which is really tricky right now, there's no bell ringing. The schedule shows here, also the assignment due dates. So you'll see coming up, and there's a calendar view also. So for students, they see a calendar, they see all their classes, they see anything they're enrolled in, and they can go at different views. So you can see by week, by month, and then there's an agenda view. I don't have an agenda today. So and the calendar feed is a different way to look at. You can see that you can put this feed into a different calendar. So if you're using a phone for calendar reminders, you see that the choices here are Google Calendar, iCal, which is the Apple version, Outlook, and other ones. There's a calendar feed. If you want to get you want to get these pushed out to another device. So say, for example, if I don't open my Chromebook, if I forget to open the Chromebook, I'm not going to see this. So if you sync that calendar together, and this is in the student view, the student will have to do it, then it can go to a device. Now, if you are a parent of an elementary school student, I don't suggest you do this. I think that I'll show you the parent app in a sec. So this is all student view. They'll see their classes, they'll see their to-do list or whatever's coming up. For a student, I'm going to click in this class right now. I'm not the student, so I'm going to change it to, see, hang on just a second, student view. So for student view, I just made this class right now. I only enrolled my own son just as a trial. But when a student logs in, they should see a welcome page with a little message from their teacher and a direction. So every school is different, every teacher is different. Some teachers have gotten really, they're working on it, but they've gotten very elaborate with their page, but they really just should see a welcome page. And you see it says period 1, join our class at 8 o'clock by clicking on Cisco Webex on the left side of the screen. So Cisco Webex is here. Click on it. And then the student will see, are there anything scheduled? Is anything coming up for them? So here's the schedule. As a student, you see, okay, first day of school. They click join at that time. If the teacher's already started that meeting, they will be able to join. The teacher has it. So for example, you see who the instructor is, it's me. So I have not started this meeting, but for my student, what happens if my student clicks join and I'm not there? Let's see. So teacher's not there yet. You'll see, it hasn't started yet. Try joining during the session's scheduled start times and end times. So you see, there's no big problem. It's just telling you, hasn't started yet. Then close that and go back. So you see they can join when the time comes. It tells you the duration, just so you can do some planning. You know, how long does a teacher expect me to be there? How long will this be open? So that's what we'll show. So you see in the page, there should be a little welcome and directions. Different teachers, different schools have protocols on how they're going to organize it, but at least we have the basic steps. So the basic steps are, go back to this, I'm clever, you click Canvas, and you'll see your dashboard with your teacher if you're elementary, or your teachers if you're secondary. Okay, so that's for the student view. I'm going to move on right now and talk about parent view. So what we can do as parents. First thing is, I think at the beginning of the meeting that Elizabeth put this in a chat. This is, I'm going to stop for a second, make sure it's in the chat. Okay. So this link here is open to anyone. You don't have to be, just any browser is fine. You don't have to be logged into any device. You don't need an account. You don't need anything to get to this page. So this page is Parent University, and this is maintained and created by the Family Resource Center. So Suzanne Barbarian, who's here in this meeting, she's amazing, and everybody in the Family Resource Center they're here for you. So we have
some of the kids are already way ahead of the time.
So right
but
here,
I'm going to try my best to do it as animated as possible, because sometimes behaviors might change. You know, when they see the rest of the class, they might change.
Okay, so I'll continue back in here. Sorry, I'll share the screen again. Okay, so this page here, and this is linked on the main PUSD.us website. So if you're watching from a phone and you're not going to click, don't worry about it right now. So this is on the main PUSD.us website, and I know many school sites are linking to this page. So this page has online workshop information, how-to videos, a calendar. You see there's a lot of things here. This is updated regularly, and you'll see all this stuff. So on the how-to tech videos, this is what I want you to know, because you can do this self-paced. There are some things for parents. We're working on getting them translated, but right now we're just starting with how to set up a Gmail account if you don't have one, how to translate if you need that done, how to use Webex meetings, which students will, like I said, this is like the analogy of the airplane. The teachers have a lot of work to do and a lot of balls in the air to juggle. But for students, they're just passengers. They click a link and they're in. So their meetings are within Canvas, and Webex is already installed. Everything's done for them. It's scheduled for them. They don't have to accept an invitation. They just go into Canvas and they see it. Okay, this video here is wonderful, and it was created by Canvas. So it's from the authority, and this is showing what to do as a parent. This is the video. I'm going to see how well this works with the audio. So I'm going to need some input from just Allison. Let me know when I start it, because I'm not sure about the audio settings to make sure everybody can hear it. So let's see how this, can you just let me know, can you hear it? Yeah. Okay, great. So we'll watch this video. It's a couple minutes.
Meet Amy Pandison. Amy has 2 kids, Tucker and Jane. Tucker is in the 8th grade and loves world history. Jane is in the 3rd grade and enjoys science projects. Their school uses Canvas to facilitate student learning. Amy wants to be involved in her kids' education, not to do it for them, but to help them be successful and build confidence as learners. Amy wants to check their grades, view assignment due dates and the instructions, follow Amy and Tucker's calendars, and communicate easily with teachers. Amy hears about the Canvas parent app in an email from the school. Both kids' teachers use Canvas and want to make sure parents can easily stay connected. Amy searches for Canvas Parent in the App Store for her mobile device. After it downloads, Amy searches for her school district in the search bar. When she finds it, she then sees the option to sign in. Amy does not have her own Canvas account yet, so she selects Parents of a Canvas User, Create Account. She enters her name, her email address, and creates a password, but does not have a student pairing code. Tucker creates a pairing code from his account by opening his account settings from the global navigation bar. He selects Pair with Observer and gives that code to Amy. She can now see Tucker's classes and grades on the app's home screen. Jane is still in elementary school, so Amy gets her pairing code from Jane's teacher and easily adds it on the app. Now Jane is all set up with the Canvas Parent app as her sidekick in supporting her kids' education. To make sure she stays up to date on both kids' accounts, Jane sets up her alerts and notifications. On her phone or tablet, Amy selects Manage Students and then selects Tucker. She sets her preferences on when and about what she would like Canvas to alert her. She does the same for Jane. As Amy finishes choosing her notification settings, Jane comes bounding into the house without the coat she was wearing when she left for school. On the app, Amy opens her inbox, selects Jane's class, and sends a quick message to Jane's teacher about the missing coat. That night, before sitting down to dinner, Amy checks Tucker's classes and grades. He's doing pretty well. She also checks the calendar and notices that Tucker has a test coming up in a few days, and then helps Tucker organize his notes and create a study plan after dinner. She notices in her alerts section an announcement about a field trip to the local museum for Tucker's world history class, and a request for volunteer parent chaperones. Amy sends a quick message through the Canvas inbox to volunteer as a chaperone. Amy glances at the calendar and notices that Jane has a science project coming up. She looks at the assignment and notices a list of supplies and instructions for how to submit the assignment. Amy sets a reminder to buy the supplies. That night, Jane sits at the computer with Amy and they make a plan for Jane's project. Later that week, Amy helps Jane finish the project and helps her submit before the due date. After a long week of extracurricular activities, Amy sees a notification on her Canvas Parent app about a missing assignment in one of Tucker's classes. She reads the instructions posted on Canvas and asks Tucker how she can help him complete the assignment. That night, Amy sits with Tucker and helps him upload a picture to submit his assignment. Even though the assignment is still flagged as late and Tucker lost some points, it's still turned in. Like Amy Pandison, you can also support your students' learning and know what's going on in their academic lives. You can download it for free in your app store. You can also log on to Canvas as an observer through your web browser. Also, check out the Canvas guides for observers in the Canvas community.
Okay, so that video you can watch at your own pace as many times as you need to. You can send it to somebody from there.
Morning, Friday morning, everybody. It's almost the weekend and we're excited to be here. We are here with some rock stars from my alma mater, Utah State University.
I thought Smat Zumbong. It was the Canvas training people. It was an autoplay. I'm sorry for that. Okay, so this page here, you find it from Parent University. That's the link that I posted in there. And you see how-to tech videos. The one that I just showed you, Canvas LMS for Parents, is right here. The Webex how-to is here, but like I said, it's going to be in Canvas. So for any students who have class time, they'll find the link in Canvas. And I'm going to review that one more time before we move on to something else. So for a student, so I'm going to open this class. I'm going to show student view. So you see this student, we'll see welcome message. I think yours will probably look better than the one I made as a sample for my own practice. So welcome message and a directions. Click on Cisco Webex on the left side of the screen. Click on Cisco Webex, and then the class times are there. The other way to find what to do and when to do it, whoops, I'm still in student view, is when you log in from, so I'm doing the steps again. From Clever, you'll click Canvas. It'll take you to your Canvas dashboard, and then you have coming up on the side. So this is all student view. For parent view, You'll get the Canvas app. Now, you know how I referred to a pairing code. So for a secondary student, they can go to account and then they can add an observer. That's the role for parents. It's called observer. So they would add an observer and they would add you. For elementary students, they would need to get a pairing code from their teacher. So I'm asking for a little bit of patience here, because for elementary parents, that as I am one, I'm going to be assisting my student directly through the Chromebook. So here's how this step goes. I'm showing you this live. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. And you can see in real time with something else already online. Let's see what happens. You see me, I'll take the risk. I'll do it live. Okay, so here's my son's Chromebook. He turned it off. I don't know if he charged it. Here's Chrome starting. This is what I know what you'll experience, because here it is happening. Okay, it's started Chrome. In real time, how long does it take to log in? Remember, I have a lot of things running. We're doing this. Okay, so it says sign into your Chromebook. Next. Okay, here's the PUSD portal. Since he's younger, he doesn't know his password, even though I have it written on this card. But he doesn't know it, or he doesn't always type it well. So since he's younger, he has a QR code. If you picked up your materials from your child's school, I saw there were printouts of the QR codes there. You can also, if you lose the QR code, or you spill juice on the QR code, or it gets chewed up by the dog, we can make more QR codes. We just don't have them present, because this is a thing that the student privacy, we don't just lend them out to everybody. So the QR code can be generated by your school's office manager. So you can contact your own school. They can get a QR code for you. They can send you a PDF. You can print it. You can do, I've tried this. If you have it saved on your phone, that QR code, if it gets emailed to you, and I didn't plug in my printer. I have one, I didn't plug it in. So I can use that QR code here and I can log in. So it works there. So I'm going to show you the login. So I tap on scan QR code, and now my camera's on. I put the QR code up to it, and it read it. So now it's signing in to the PUSD account. Be patient with it. I know, this is live. I want you to see what it's, so your expectations are not set up. If I recorded this, it would be quick and you'd think, what's wrong with mine? Nothing's wrong with yours. This is how long it takes. Okay, so now I'm in. It's a black screen, but at the bottom, you see I have a browser. I'm gonna click on Google Chrome. When Google Chrome opens, I know, oh, this is fast. Sometimes mine doesn't catch the Wi-Fi right away. It says no Wi-Fi. And I thought, is something wrong? And my son's like, no, 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 just refresh it. He knew. So first grader knew, no, 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 just click on the circle, the circle arrow. So the refresh, he calls it the circle arrow. Click on the circle arrow, you'll get it. But here he is. So my son's is already there. I can tell PBS Kids, he made it a favorite. He learned how to make favorites on his Clever. So he has that there. Also typing, he likes the typing games. I don't know, that's my kid. So you see anything that's here. One thing I want you to notice is there's a help desk. It's a black icon. If you're having tech issues, you can click on that and you can request help from our IT department. I want to just give some respect to the IT department. They're a very small department and they are working some kind of miracles right now. They're doing amazing work. So please be patient with them. When you finally get a hold of them, be kind, because they've been working really hard. So here, okay, I'm going to click Canvas. Now, school hasn't started yet, so I don't expect to see his teacher. But I do see that, you know, me as his mom made that class. I showed you that Spider-Man class. Here's his Spider-Man class. It's right there. I'm going to tap on it once. And that message that I said. Now I know there's something, this is, like I said, IT, don't worry. If you get that message that says, your browser doesn't meet the requirements, don't worry, just ignore that. It's not you. Okay, and here's the welcome page. That welcome Spidey for Spider-Man. So he's in. If it says, click on Webex, okay. Remember, I'm doing this on a Chromebook live so you can see it here. Oh, this is in the way. I just move that. Click on Webex. And his list of class times is going to pop up. But I'm showing you this so you know that there is a little bit of a lag time. My internet's pretty good, but I am on Zoom right now. And so if other people are using other devices, I know that's going to be a factor in how long it takes to load. Somebody else is watching an iPad. If you're doing internet TV, anything that has video is going to slow it down a little bit. So there's his list of classes, and he just has to click when it's time and click join. So if I was able to do it live in my hand with the pressure of all of you watching right now, I think you're going to be okay. So one thing that I know is going to happen is when I'm in the moment and I get stressed out and I need some help, what do I do? So you need to, at each school site, maybe there would be a different team of people supporting you to help. So you need to know from your school and maybe check your school's website to see. There are some teachers who are designated as tech leaders. They have volunteered their time and their expertise to be of help. A lot of the tech leaders are really just helping teachers right now. So give them a little bit of time, especially this weekend. Let's say do not disturb. Put the do not disturb on everybody right now this weekend. You'll be okay. You'll know with the students, it's 1, 2, 3. The 1 is log into Chromebook or Google Chrome. 2, Clever. 3, Canvas. That's it for them. If something goes wrong, and it will, then know from your own school site, who do you know at your school site? Sometimes it's a community assistant, sometimes it's a tech leader, sometimes it's an instructional coach. Every school has different staff, so you'll know for your school site. That website that I shared with you all for Parent University, that's open to anybody with that. You don't need a Canvas account. All you need is the link. And that link, I just put it in the chat. And it is also in the, it's on the PUSD main website. So Parent University has the link of those how-to tech videos. And that's what I've been talking a while. So I'm gonna defer to Allison and have her, I know she's been, thank you so much for managing all this.
You're welcome. Thank you. So I was sending you a couple of questions that I've been getting. If you can address a few of those, specifically the Chrome updating, accessing your child's email password, how to reset that.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I see some of them in here now. Okay. So the bit.ly, yeah, that link, let me see. Okay. So if Chrome's not updating, so we have to make sure, I know a lot of students think that they've shut down their Chromebook when they closed it, like I just did. You know, they're like, I'm like, did you turn it off? And my son's like, yeah, I closed it. So we have to make sure that they know to do that. There is a way, and since I'm showing from my computer right now, I have to do this thing again. Okay, they have to do a full, complete shutdown. So this is just went into sleep mode. It didn't do a full shutdown. Okay, so it's logging in again. So I'm gonna log back in, but here I can see, actually I don't have to log in. There is at the bottom corner in Chrome in the window, it says shutdown. So make sure you tap on shutdown, and when you tap on shutdown, now it's gonna do a full shutdown. So a lot of students will just close it and charge it and they think they did it, but clicking on shutdown intentionally will do it. You don't have to shut it down if you want to go through the Chrome settings and say, okay, look for updates, are there updates? So that's another way to do it, is to search for updates. But we say the easiest one, when updates are pushed out, a full shutdown and a full restart. So you can decide on how often you want to do it. You can make a routine. To me, I like to tell him to shut down completely to end the school day. So that's our signal that we're not going to open the Chromebook again for the day. We're going to do a full shutdown. So during the day, he might log in, do something else, come back, and that's okay to just close it. Okay, we are done with school, full shutdown. So I'm just making that as a routine in my household. I hope that you can come up with routines that work for you and your own children. There's a couple of, let's see, we have some other things about the shutdown and Chrome not updating. Okay, so the update, if it says your browser is not support, that is something that is a known issue right now with ITS, and they're working it out. So when you log into Canvas, if it tells you that message and you know you restarted and you know you updated, please don't worry. That is actually a Chromebook issue right now. So that's something that's in there. So things are not all turned on right now, and the emails for parents are not exactly on right now. We're just working on connecting the teachers to their accounts. And this is, so I'm gonna get technical now, ready for the, here's the technical part. So we have ARIES, which is our student information system. ARIES connects with the state of California because we do testing and things like that. So this is official student information system, which is only accessible to the legal guardian of the student. This is, you know, for medical records, we have a law that protects privacy. For educational records, we also have laws that protect privacy. So student information system is ARIES. So an ARIES account needs to be created. This is the parent portal from only the legal guardians of that child. That's the only person who can do it, and that's why it needs to be verified for the first time with an ID. Like you have to have the ID. Used to be you would take it into your office. Right now it's take a picture of it and email it to your office manager. But that's why the ID is needed, because of privacy laws for student records. So that's ARIES. So ARIES is where you make sure that you look in there once you get to log in. Now for every ARIES user, students, administrators, teachers, parents, every ARIES user, ARIES as a system has required us all to update our passwords. And I use a lot of tech, and I have an ARIES parent account for my own child, and I have a lot of things. It was hard to come up with a lengthy enough password that was unique enough. It was hard. So just so you know, be patient with the process. It was hard for me. So that's the parent information system. But here's how Canvas works with it. Canvas is the learning management system. So we have LMS, learning management system, and SIS, student information system. ARIES is, that's where you have all the stuff like your email address, your phone number, your mailing address. Check that to make sure it's up to date. If it's an email you don't check, put it on an email you actually check. So make sure your ARIES is all up to date, because that's going to talk to Canvas. That's how Canvas gets populated. So Canvas gets like your emails for authentication, all that stuff goes through what's in ARIES. So Canvas is a great learning management system because it is closed. It is only accessible by the authorized users. So you can't just give your password to somebody. You know, a kid can't say, oh, do my homework, here's my password. They can't do that. It needs to be that user logged in, and they have to be logged in through their account. We can see if they're logged in from their own device or not. So on the IT end, they can see that they're logged in from their PUSD issued device, or they can see if they're accessing from another device. That's okay if they do access it, but we can see that they are, because there's a lot of controls that are on here, and things for safety, things for privacy. For example, students have access to email now. It used to be only high school students had access, but now all students have access just in case it's needed. And students cannot receive nor send an email outside of PUSD for safety reasons. We don't want people sending emails to students to their email. So we're making sure that those things are secure. So with ARIES, yes, it needs to be checked. So you need to check your records. If you have trouble with accessing your ARIES account, that's when you need to talk to your own school site, because your office manager is the person who manages. You might be also, community assistants might be helping with that, but community assistants have not, I think their contracts are different, so I don't know how much time they've actually been working yet, if they're equipped to help you yet. So I don't want them to be bombarded if they just came back to work and they have this to deal with. So I would contact your school site to make sure. But once your ARIES is correct, then everything should work fine for your Canvas access.
Okay, there's a few more questions. Let me know when you're ready for them.
Bring it on.
Okay, so Okay, if you could go over again, a parent is asking, how do you get to the parent Canvas on a desktop and laptop? I have it as a phone app, but I would like it on another device. So if you could kindly just review that one more time.
Okay, so that's something that's in the video. I believe it's just, I'm gonna do it right. We're gonna do this live. I'm gonna do this now and see what happens. So, okay, so here we go. Okay, so it's, you just go to, and I'll share my screen. So on a web browser, so I am using Chrome, but I'm at canvas.instructure.com, and then you'll get a login page. Your login might look a little different because my cache, I know it has it saved as the teacher. So you'll log into it there. So canvas.instructure.com, and then you say if you need a Canvas account, this is what you see when you go to canvas.instructure.com. If you've already signed up, let's say you already started using the app, so you already have an account. If you don't have it, you sign up here. But if you have it, you'll just log in on this page. So that's how you use it on a browser. I'm making an assumption here that it would work on another browser if you're not using Chrome as your browser, because that Canvas is independent of Google. That's one of the benefits of us using a actual real robust LMS instead of using like Google Classroom. Google Classroom, you have to be Google. With Canvas, you can be using any system, so it's fine. So that would be there. I saw a question in the chat a sec ago about some students, especially students who are high school and are taking advanced placement classes and had some summer work ahead. They have been able to see Canvas because their students have been using it for summer. The account that will be available, or I guess the access for the current classes, that will be live on Monday. So right now it is live for teachers, but teachers are spending time setting it up. So it will be live on Monday morning. So on Monday, when you go to the parent, if you already signed up for the app and you are together with the student, then, and you have your observer account, then you'll see it on Monday. In that video that I showed you, there were a couple steps that the student need to take. So I'm talking about secondary students here. So middle school and up, those students would go to their account and then add an observer and add you. For elementary, there would be a code that you need from the teacher. And like I said, please give the teachers a few days and we'll be able to send out codes. So that will be coming. So for those things, there's something interesting about those observer accounts that as somebody I've always worked in high schools. So yes, I'm a parent of an elementary school student, but I'm a high school, I've always 20 years working in high schools. I want to make sure that one of the things we teach our kids is how to communicate with their teachers, especially when we're getting them ready for college. I always say to kids, and I said this to my younger cousins too, here's what my advice to you. You're going to college. Here's what you need to know. Do not be afraid to contact your professor, but let's learn how to do it appropriately. Not, hey, what's up? I'm going to be late. No. So it's a really great skill for them to learn how to professionally email. Hello, Mrs. Amaya. I am in your third period class. I have a question. Those things of addressing the teacher and the student directly emailing the teacher, identifying themselves for what class they're in, because those PUSD emails are this gibberish of, I know there's an algorithm, but you can't recognize them from the email. You just see a crazy email address. So that the student, we're talking secondary students, high school students, that they contact their teacher, they address their teacher, and they identify themselves in the message. They can send those messages in Canvas. They don't even need to go out to the email. In Canvas, there's an inbox. So they can send the messages. So if they have questions about their grades, if they have questions about anything, as a parent, I would say, if you see a grade or you see something questionable here, talk to your own child first and have them ask the teacher the question. If I went straight to the teacher, I'm behind my child's back and I'm not getting my child to learn how to advocate for themselves and how to own their own learning and not just wait for mom to remind them. That's just one of the skills that I know in a conference with, she was a professor she wrote a book on this. She was the dean of freshmen at Stanford. And she said there's some skills that these kids, they got into Stanford. They obviously have a lot of skills. Some skills they didn't have. One was how to actually contact your professor, how to go to office hours and feel okay with it, how to become comfortable with those things. So if we can get them used to that in high school, they're going to be so much better prepared.
Okay, there's some more questions.
Yes.
One is, should I panic if I have no courses added in Canvas?
No panicking. The teachers are still working. So it's like, they didn't let me in the building. No, they're still working. So
Okay.
On Monday, you should see them.
All right. Next.
However, if you don't see them on Monday, still don't panic. Don't panic. We'll figure it out. So, but it should be Monday.
I was able to log in for one child on my desktop, but it will not allow me to switch or add a second student, although both are on my phone app.
That is a question for Canvas. I don't know. And mostly, you know what I do, how I figure this out is I just try it myself. I only have one kid. So I have to adopt one of my friends' children to add them in and see how to do it. I don't know. So, but you know that I do know some teachers who have this is great. My favorite test family is the Olsons. They teach at PHS and their children attend Sierra Madre Elementary and Middle. So we test all kinds of things because they have all these roles, and now we see how this thing works. So I don't have the answer to that question on the browser version of Canvas for adding another child. That's something that we'll have to check in the Canvas help. I see a message that just came to me, so I won't talk to we won't share the name.
There's a bunch of them. I'm going down the list so I can read them out to you. I tried the desktop Canvas login with the email password I used on my phone, and it doesn't seem to recognize me.
Okay, so I just logged into it for the first time right now. I can't help with that at this time.
Okay.
That's a Canvas help.
All right.
There's a good question here about student records. Okay, I see this here. So, but I've dealt with this because one of the roles I fill at PHS is about testing. So there's some things with testing and students' preferred names. So the testing system, such as the CASP or the SBAC, those things come from the records that are the original legal records of students enrolled in school. So when they're enrolled in school, you know how you need their birth certificate and all of that. But names, you know, students who are transgender, their names have changed or preferred names changed. So they have, some of those things are populated that way. With Canvas, I know with PowerSchool, we were able to make sure that it was the correct preferred name for the student. In testing, I had an issue with that. So I work with a student, I support a student who is transgender at PHS, and that student, everything we got correct in the classroom stuff. So the Aries looked correct. There used to be PowerSchool, that looked correct. And then when I got the login for their SBAC interim test, it was the incorrect name. So there's some things that weren't exactly right. If it's in Aries, it should work perfectly in Canvas. It should. We haven't seen it yet. So it's possible there's going to be glitches. It's likely there's going to be glitches. But it should work there. So I wanted to make sure I take that. Attendance. So student attendance is still done through Aries. And that's why we don't just throw out Aries parent portal. In Aries, you will be able to see attendance and other announcements and things. So my recommendation of what to put on your phone and what to dump, because I know sometimes we need to dump things, is get the PUSD app. You can get that from the PUSD website, the link, or you just search for that. The main PUSD app, you can get alerts and announcements from any schools that you choose. So for me, there's a school I work at and a school my son attends. If you have children attending more than one school, choose the schools you want alerts from. You can access Aries through that app. And the best part is that the Aries app, that's the one I would say delete. The Aries app is like a light version. You don't get to see everything. So like PDF forms or things like that, report cards, you can't see it on the Aries app. But if you go through the PUSD app, it links to the web browser version of Aries, and you can see all of those. So the two apps I would say, if you're going to put on apps here, one is the Pasadena, the PUSD app. And it looks like it's blue background with the PUSD logo. And the other app is Canvas. Don't use the Aries app because you can access that through the PUSD app. Okay, so I'll defer. Allison, you tell me.
Okay, if my clever.com does not authenticate, I don't have access. How do I get to Canvas?
So we have to figure out what's wrong with the Clever. That's one where we need to email somebody at your school site and ask for some help. Because we should do, because the login is all the same, so we should be able to do that. So we need to solve that problem.
Okay. Can students communicate with their high school counselors through Canvas?
The high school counselors, some of them are on, some of them are not. So for communicating with your counselor, I would say send an email.
Can you register on Canvas without the pairing code?
I don't know if you can. You might be able to just come on. I think you need the code because remember, these are student records which are protected and need to be authenticated. Somebody needs to be say, because to get Aries access, you needed to show your ID. So if a teacher sees this is the email that matches what's in Aries, they can verify that you are actually the parent. Now, here's a little story I have of a student I taught. He was an 11th grader, and he was not doing any work. He was watching videos. He was messing around. He was on Twitch. He was doing stuff that not his work. The school was trying to contact his parents, so they went to the email in Aries and sending that. They called and left messages for the phone number listed in Aries. The student made up all that stuff. He was circumventing everything. So I want to make sure you as a parent, you check everything that's in there, not because your child's going to be sneaky like that, but because you want to make sure it's correct. And then the teacher should be able to know how to contact you, because that is the one way that the teacher will know how to reach you. So make sure everything's correct in your Aries, and it should work together with Canvas. If your Aries is all correct and you're having issues, that's when you contact your school and make sure.
Okay. Are there any types of parental controls added for the Chromebooks this year?
So what we have right now in terms of controls is we have an app called Gaggle, and this is something that monitors it does automatic monitoring of all use of a Chromebook. So that usage is it even searches within Google Docs. If a student has a shared Google Doc and they're typing something in there, that is monitored too. So that monitoring is, it gets flagged if there's something inappropriate, if there's a reference to something, if there's something, and I don't want to give the examples because I don't want to think about those things right now, but those automatically trigger a notification to the school's administration. So it could be principal, assistant principal, depending on the school who it goes to, and they check that. There's another app that is on the Chromebooks called Hapara for teachers to be able to see. So, but that's only live. So if a teacher logs in at a certain time and they wonder where a student is, and they can see they're online through Hapara. Hapara can also do what's called a focused browsing, but this is all controlled by teacher. So as far as parent controls, I'm not aware of any. Right now it's under teacher control.
Okay. All right, there's some more questions in here. So again, it's the question about emails not being authenticated. This is where you're suggesting to go back to the school's office manager, is that correct?
Yes, and it could be just a matter of every single Aries user needs to update their password. That's everybody. That could be it, but there might be other things, so you can troubleshoot with your office manager. Okay, I just got a message here. Thank you. See, this is new to all of us. That's why I said you know why I'm not an expert? Not just because I'm not an expert. Nobody's an expert right now. There are no experts. we're all in uncharted territory. So no, as a parent, there's no book to read. There's no, we're on an uncharted path. There's no map. So yeah, thank you, because this is really a team effort. There's somebody I was talking to gave a great, I always think of analogies. It used to be school was like a game being played on the field. So think of a soccer game. It's happening on the field. The parents are in the stands. They see their kid, they see the teacher, they see it, but they're in the stands. Now parents are on the field. We're all in the same place together, and that's a new role for everyone. So it's, you know, change is uncomfortable. Even when it's positive change, it's still hard. So I see here that for an elementary school student, if you log into their account, you can go to the settings and you can get the pairing code. So for parents of elementary school student, you can do that. So thank you. Okay, hit me with more.
All right. So if a kindergarten student has a Chromebook and a QR code, will they be able to connect with their teacher on Monday, even if parents don't do any of the other stuff?
Yes, yes, they will. So if we want to keep it simple and keep our sanity, you have this, it's charged, you have a QR code, you're good. You should be okay. You can try it out now. You can open up, it'll probably show a blank canvas, but do it. Just do it to see the blank so you know you got there. I'm not in a school, I'm working from home. To me, I'm like, I want this laminated. I want this laminated. But I printed up, just because I work in the district, I printed up extra so he doesn't know where the hidden one is, because I know my child. I found this in the bathroom. So I say, like, the rule is when we're gonna do the shutdown, and you see I also have his ID and his account written on the back here. I have one that's magnet to the refrigerator. He's getting taller though. I have it at the top so he can't take it, so I know it's there. So this, yeah. I know that the QR codes for the school have been shared. I think all instructional coaches also have access to them. So, and I don't want to volunteer. Well, I can just do it. I have access to them. If you want to email me, I can send you your own child's QR code in a pinch, because I know. I thought, you know, I know the standards, the tech standards say by first grade, students should be able to write their own, type their own username and password. That's one of the tech standards. My own child still uses this QR code. So I know we've created them for kindergarten, first grade, and second grade with the QR codes. Older than that, they should be able to type. And it's the exact same login that they used in the spring. So if you're returning to PUSD, the way they logged in the spring will be the same. They'll just see when they go to Clever to click on Canvas.
Okay. A parent is recommending taking a picture of the QR code in your cell phone.
Thank you. See, teamwork here.
Yes. And thank you everybody for your patience. I'm scrolling through the chat box to be able to provide more questions and get some more answers. So you can continue to type in the chat box and I will happily read them. Someone mentioned that they have contacted the district, but Clever is supposed to be available this afternoon. It's still pending. The other question is, do we have to rely on middle and high school students to give these pairing codes to their parents?
Okay, I'm going to speak now as somebody who's been a high school teacher for 20 years. And I've been through we've had a lot of long conversations with, I'm just ready. When my kid becomes high school, I'm ready. I would have this conversation. Like, open your Chromebook, log in with me. Let's do this right now together. And I know sometimes you think I want to give them space. Please be their parent and say, no, I'm still your parent. Sit down with me, show it to me now. And they're gonna say, no, I'm doing this. Yeah, I'm your mom, I'm your boss right now. Please sit with me and let's do it. So I would have them do it and be there with them as they do it to make sure it happens. And it doesn't have to be unpleasant. You don't have to be like that. You can be much sweeter about it, but sit down with them and get through it. I think that's actually too, I've had a lot of, over the years, conversations with parents who just say, they won't talk to me about it, they won't do it. Let's sit down together and do it. So take a few minutes, sit down together. A lot of times, you know, this is part of the normal growing process for adolescents, where they're asserting independence, they're testing out independence, but you need a couple minutes to say, no, let's authenticate this, let's put this together.
Okay, let's see. So the only way to access the pairing code is from the Chromebook of your student, is that correct?
Yes.
I got a Webex invitation from a teacher. I thought everything would go through Canvas.
It should go through Canvas, but remember, teachers are learning right now. So they might be testing things out. Sometimes when they click save, they don't realize it's sending an email to everybody. That might be happening by mistake. However, it's possible a teacher might be calling you, inviting you to a meeting, you as parents. They might be doing a meeting with parents. So they would contact you through an email right now, especially if they don't know if everybody's signed up on Canvas, you know, like for all parents, because you all are here right now and you might already have this app, but if they do email, that'll contact more parents. So it's possible, but I think there also might be some mistakes. So.
Would it be okay for you to show the video again?
Actually, let me give you, so that link, I want to make sure everybody has access. Send it to everybody. On this page, when you click, so this is an open Canvas page. When you see there's a link on that page to the video. Well, not just that video, but other videos too. And so the video that I showed you all about how to use the app is linked on that page. And then when the recording, I guess you can find it in YouTube directly, or when the recording of this meeting is available, you'll be able to rewatch it there.
How do we let the teacher know we are logged in to attend class for that day?
So for attendance, the procedures are going to vary a little depending on the school itself. So that information should be coming from the school administrator.
Get the code so we can be on your schools.
Yeah, so it's possible that probably hasn't been shared yet. So make sure when if you get a Sunday call, Sunday email from your school's principal, that information should be there. Just so you know, just on the back end, when students or anybody attends a WebEx meeting, there is a log of who has attended the meeting. So the teachers receive that information. On Canvas, there's analytics. So a teacher can see in their class who has accessed Canvas, when did they access Canvas, how long were they on, and what pages were they on. So there's a lot of analytics in these programs. We have very robust programs now. In the spring, we were using mismatch, hodgepodge, a lot of different tools, but right now we have very powerful tools to be able to see it. In terms of attendance protocol, I know that teachers will be clicking in areas, but in terms of what constitutes, like what gets them to click and what it looks like, the codes are going to be a little different, and they will be live on Monday. So this is something that I haven't seen it yet because we're running through the whole program on Monday.
Okay, who will train us on the apps within the Clever profile?
So the apps within Clever, so for this school year, remember, anything that's there will be linked through Canvas. And the teachers, if the teachers elect to use it, then they will be showing the students how to use it. So that would be on teachers, because just because everything's there doesn't mean that your child's teacher is using all those things. So if a teacher chooses to use it, such as Flipgrid as an example. Flipgrid is a cool app. So what it is a teacher posts a question and the students record a video response. They don't want to show their face. They can put all these filters on it, emojis, and they can give their response. It's a great app, but it works in Canvas. So the way a student would access now is they would just go into Canvas, they see they have an assignment on their little to-do list, they'll click on it, and then they record a Flipgrid, but it happens within Canvas. So most apps, excuse me, there's a siren and my dogs always howl at the siren. This live stuff. So I'm gonna talk through, excuse me, there's 2 miniature schnauzers who like to answer any sirens. So that's what's happening. Okay, I think they're calm. Since I sent everybody out of the house so it'd be quiet, and then there's nobody to shush the dogs when they howl at the siren. Sorry about that. Okay, so we were talking about the different apps. So the different apps, we may not use all of them, depending on the teacher, which tools that they think are appropriate for the students and they feel good about using. Because remember, they're learning how to fly a plane right now. They might not know all the controls yet. So that would wait on that and contact your child's teacher. So your direct teacher to know whatever tools that they're using to teach. I have a couple questions coming to me privately, and I want to say that we're looking at students that this is going to be a big project for teachers to check in to see who are they able to contact and which students are they hearing from, and everything seems to be working. And just go down their list of rosters to see who have they not heard from, which parents have they not heard from, and then we will have a team of people at the school. So we're working on, we have like a flow chart at our school of who to, when this happens, what do you do? If this happens, what do you do? So we have a system of follow-up, and we'll be going through those steps of following up to make sure about, you know, the Aries info, the Canvas, all that stuff, so that we have at, you know, I'm at the largest high school in the district, so we don't have a huge team, but we have a team. So we'll work together with that stuff.
You have some more questions? There's some more. I'm just trying to scroll through here.
Yeah, I always have to say, remember, not only am I not an expert, the experts don't exist right now. So please try to be patient with, I know when you're having trouble with tech, I know it's really frustrating. I have, because I'm on the computer a lot, I have a timer set, and I work for only a certain amount of time, and it tells, the timer goes off and I have to get up and walk away. So sometimes we got to go outside, go outside, go in the yard, go somewhere for a little while, and have some patience, because everybody's learning this. You know, I think Miss Frizzle learned how to drive that magic school bus. She did not learn how to fly the airplane with everybody in it with only a couple days notice. So yeah, thank you for everybody for being patient and understanding. The district's response, the school's response, the teacher's response, they haven't been perfect. Mine hasn't been perfect, but we've been doing pretty well, the best that we can. And, you know, we just need to continue to work together. I think that if we're frustrated, it's really hard to just stop, not take it out on one another, but to try to work together to solve it.
In a previous program used, teachers were able to turn on the students' microphones without their permission. Is that going to be the case with Canvas?
So with Canvas, the video conferencing will all go through Webex. Webex is doing some updates right now to have more tools and controls for teachers. However, all of our training and all of our conversations with teachers have been really about respecting students, being understanding about students with cameras and microphones and what we share. Also that live lesson time will be recorded, but not without consent of students and not of student screens. So the recording will be of teachers and whatever the teacher's sharing, but there are settings in Webex so it does not show the teacher, the other students' faces. That way their privacy is respected. We just said, like, as a courtesy, because I work with high school teachers and working with adults too, when we just warn everybody, just as a courtesy, this is being recorded. You would not just turn off your camera now if you don't want to be recorded. So we have some things that are kind of general things, but the settings and the protocols we have right now for the WebEx meetings are that they will be recorded, but we will not record student faces in those recordings. It will only be the teacher recorded and whatever this teacher is sharing, like when I shared my screen, whatever the teacher is sharing will be recorded. So those are specific settings that are in WebEx. In terms of requiring students, we are not requiring students to have their camera on. In WebEx, they do have they have some controls where they can blur their background and they can put in a virtual background, so that can help with some privacy if they don't want to share their home, for teachers and for students. But also for so the WebEx is going to be for students. It'll be when the teacher, it'll be in Canvas. So it'll be a link in Canvas. So the one place they go for everything is Canvas. So those meetings will be there. Now, meetings that are outside of class time, let's say like a parent or something else like that is, let's see. Okay, sorry about that. That wasn't my dog, that's someone else's dog. We all have, I feel like I live in a zoo now with all the animals. So those things for the requirement, we're not requiring it. However, I think the better question when we talk to teachers about it is not about requiring, but being able to do your best to build relationships with your students where they trust you and among students so they trust one another, so that you have a positive way so that we don't have students, any bullying or anything negative like that. So we want to make sure we do our best for team building, community building with the classroom so that the students would feel okay with having their camera on. I know my son, because he had not got a haircut by a professional, we call her the lady because he can't pronounce her name. So the lady didn't cut his hair and he didn't want to be on his video. And he said, no, I didn't go to the lady. I don't want to be on the camera. So I understood that. And I think that that's something a lot of teachers understand too. But we can see that they're on. There's a lot of ways to participate without showing yourself on a camera. For example, in a chat. So, or we can say, turn on right now, wave your hands, or do something like that. So there are other ways to show participation without necessarily having the camera on.
Can you turn on audio only without permission?
I'm not sure about this. Remember, I'm also new to WebEx and I can't look at it right now because I'm in Zoom with you all right now. So Zoom settings are different from WebEx settings that are different from GoToMeeting settings that are different from Google Meet settings. So I have a lot of different tools. I believe they can turn on the microphone for a student. I don't see why they would unless the student was trying to communicate and they're trying to help. I don't think it would be in an invasive way.
If you have additional questions, go ahead and type them in the chat box. I'm scrolling through so that I can read them aloud so everybody knows in case you have the same question as someone else.
Thank you.
There's a comment about the link you sent for Canvas, that it looks different.
So I am logged in on an admin account. So your screen will look different from my screen. As you'll see the public facing account.
Okay. It says I'm using Chrome and she doesn't see the area for the parent login.
I am not able to troubleshoot on the Canvas app or that stuff right now. What I shared with you is not a login page. Or if you're talking about the Canvas one to create a account, yeah, I can't troubleshoot on that one right now. I only have the one that I just shared in right now is the page we created. But as far as the app or using Canvas on a browser, I'm learning that right now.
Thank you. I don't see any other questions. Do you have any in your chat box?
I think yeah, we have a question about Webex. So remember Webex, we can find it in Canvas when they're scheduled.
My student and myself cannot access Aries right now. Is that something I should really be concerned about, or can it wait until school starts?
Well, right now, I know depending on the school site, some schools are running updates. So as they update schedules and they do things, so sometimes the system is not available as they're running the update. So it depends on your school when they're doing it. I know for us, we have PHS, we have an update scheduled at 2 a.m. So don't log in at 2 a.m. But depends on the school when they're doing the update, when the schedules are being updated. However, everybody who is a parent, observer, whoever has an account who's not a student needs to check to update their password. So if a student has a Chromebook and logs into their Chromebook, check their email. They should check their email just to see if there's any links, anything that they haven't updated. Yeah, the Canvas app on mobile is it looks very different. That's a question I just received.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, it looks different.
Oh, sorry, Jennifer.
Sorry. It's fine, I know, see?
Sorry.
This tech it's fun. We're on an adventure here. So I have only used it in the app, but like I can tell you as a person, like all I have though is the class that I invented for him. I don't even know my own child's teacher yet. So I don't know yet on that. We'll learn more together.
Who do we contact if Clever doesn't recognize the student's email?
So students should, first off, if they are using a Chromebook, it should work. Because if they're able to log into the Chromebook, Clever should automatically work. And because they log in with Google, it's all one Google sign-in. So they click sign in with Google. There should be no entering of email in Clever. It should just be through, so I'll back up. If you're trying to access from another device, you're not on a PUSD Chromebook. You need to be using Chrome as your browser and log in to Chrome as the browser with your PUSD account. Once you do that, the logins should all match together because they're with the Google account.
Okay.
Oh, I just saw this. Clever's doing an update. Great. So I guess it means it's Friday. Go outside, do something else. Check in on, maybe log in on Sunday, see what's there. It should be updated then. And no need to panic. I actually had a talk with a teacher yesterday. I said, okay, what's the worst that can happen? You have no power? That happened to a teacher yesterday because of the fire where he lives, no electricity. I said, okay. So that's the worst. You're still alive. Your students are still okay as far as you know. We're okay. We're okay. So that's the worst. So we're okay. Like, let's say you can't log in, they missed the first day of school. That nobody's going to say you were truant the first day of school. We know right now everybody's trying the best they can, and we'll connect with people. And I know it's not going to be 100%, but we'll learn from it. We'll grow. And I think my principal, Robert Hernandez, the principal of PHS, is the most positive optimistic person in the world. He says, you know how great we're going to be when we come back? Can you imagine? Like, we're learning all this stuff. Yeah, it's panic time now, but when we come back, we're going to be super powered. And I just thought, God, just let me get through the day. So, but yeah, we're learning right now. So it's a struggle. I guess I'll give you one more analogy, because that's all I do, is remember when you learned to drive a car? Remember what that felt like? It was stressful. You're like, check my mirror, put on my seatbelt, do this, take off the parking brake. All these things you had to do, and you're really worried about it. And there's a lot of stuff to remember, and it's overwhelming and stressful. Also kind of exciting, depending on you, but there's a lot to do. But now when you drive, I can get to work without even knowing how I got there. It will become automatic. We will become better at it. Teachers will become better at it. Principals will become better at it. Parents and kids will all become better at it. So we're in this together. Okay, yeah, I see people are concerned about accessing Webex. For Webex, on the participant end, all you'll see is when somebody schedules a Webex class, a student will see it in the Canvas class. So it'll only be there when they're in class, then it'll show up. So there's nothing you have to do, nothing to install. It's already in there, but it won't show up to you until a teacher schedules it. So when the class is live, when the teacher's Canvas class is live and they schedule a Webex, then they'll see it. No, students will not be able to, well, I think they can send messages to each other. They can send email to each other, and they can send inbox messages to one another in Canvas as well within their class, but those are all monitored. So emails to one another are monitored, and so are inbox messages. So there's no private chat to one another through any of the PUSD devices. This is all monitored. So let's say they wanted to write a message or email from their Chromebook and it wasn't class time to somebody, that's monitored. If you're noticing if there's anything problematic, the first person to check in with is your child's teacher. That's the first contact for anything like that. And then depending on what the situation is, for more severity, it'll go through, we have a flow chart for who it goes to. So if it goes to a counselor, it goes to an assistant principal, so on. So depending on what's happening. But yes, they can email one another. That's something that during the summer when my son was missing his friends, his buddies, they emailed each other, and they found that in Google email, it's not the same as the Apple emojis, but there's some emojis. So they're sending emojis of dragons and stuff to each other in email. So it was really, I thought it was a nice way for them to connect, and also learning some skills, typing and sending email.
Any more questions? I think that was everyone's.
Okay. There'll be 100 more, I know.
All right, I don't see any more in the chat, so.
Okay. Oh, there's a question about Google Hangouts. So right now, because we're in a transition period with Webex, just in case anything doesn't run smoothly, we still have the Google Meeting that is still turned on for right now. So I don't think they'll be able to use any of this stuff. I think I don't think students can start a meeting. I don't think they can schedule or start one. And the chat, I don't know because I haven't tried it. So that's something I don't know. I know IT knows, but I don't know that personally. But the Google, so you might see, for example, if your teacher's having trouble or there's some issue with them starting their WebEx, they might be able to, as a backup, do a Google Meet. So that is still available to them because we wanted them to have backup plan. So plan B, there's a Google Meet, which is just the Google video conferencing. That's still available through the end of September.
And just so everyone knows, I'm saving the questions in the chat box, and I will make sure that becomes a Q&A, and I will be sure that it's linked to the PTA Council, PUSD.org webpage under forum. So I will work on that once this meeting ends, and the link should be up there. Give me till about 5 o'clock, okay? And I'll at least get the Q&A questions posted today, and then we'll work on making sure we have the important parts of this video and the audio so we can download it, because that will take a little bit of time. Does anyone have any other questions while we have Jennifer with us? And remember, she did say she can help you get your child's elementary QR code. So if that's something you need assistance with, she's available to help support our parents with that. All right, well, if there are no...
I was so happy because I had my own kid. I thought, once I got access to that, great, because mine was leaving his in the bathroom. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Jennifer, how would you like them to contact you?
My email, I can put that in, I'll put it in the chat, but it's pretty, the PUSD accounts for staff are so much easier than for students. Students has that crazy code. Mine is pringle.jennifer@pusd.us. Please know that right now my priority is helping teachers. So I have a lot of meetings scheduled with teachers, but the kids know me from being on campus. So I've been helping kids too, and you know, kids work at crazy hours, so that's okay. So I might be a little slow to respond, but I'll respond. But also, you know, remember, you have people at your school site. Your school site has a dedicated team, but they have, you know, each school's different. So they might have, they might tell you, call this person, check with this person. But for me, so my job, like I said, I'm an instructional coach for PHS. So I work at the high school. I used to teach, I taught at Rose City High School. I taught continuation school students. They're my favorite. But I've taught high school for a long time, and in different districts too. So I can tell you, I've worked in 2 other districts, and I have a lot of my colleagues who work in LA Unified and work for charter schools too. I can tell you, PUSD, yes, not perfect. We're not perfect, but PUSD is doing a really good job, and it's in a way that's really, they're doing the best they can with what they have right now. So I am very happy to be part of PUSD, and I get frustrated too with a lot of the stuff, but we're set up pretty well. Like our district, we already had a Chromebook student. Kids who needed hotspots, we already issued before pandemic. We had issued hotspots to students. I know I had some parents tell me, like, why do they have these Chromebooks? Look now, I'm so glad we have these Chromebooks. And I'm so glad we had all these tools, and they spent money on it, but we were more ready than most. So it's still hard. Okay. Yeah, there is a list. So for hotspots, I'm not sure exactly how they've done with the ordering. They are ordering also. A lot of teachers are only working off Chromebooks. That's another reason to please be patient with teachers. Chromebooks are they're nice, but they're very limited. They're not as powerful as using a full desktop computer. They're not as fast, and they don't do as many things. So there are some things that tech-wise, equipment orders, those are being processed. And I know for hotspots, students who qualify for free and reduced lunch qualify for hotspots. That's because of the federal funding for it. So that's not about a PUSD purchase, that's about funding. So that funding is tied to family income level, which is why PUSD uses free and reduced lunch as the marker for a student who is eligible for a hotspot.
right, I don't see any other questions. So again, if you think of something, I want you to know that PTA Council is hosting a Q&A session, which is tomorrow. And if you registered for this, you received the link for that as well. So tomorrow from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m., all of our PTA Council officers will again be available to you for an hour. If you think of something else, we want to do our best to support you this coming school year. Please reach out to your PTA officers at your school sites as they also are being informed with the same information. And I am encouraging them as your council president to hold additional trainings for you relative to the Canvas training we just did today. So give them time to work that out and set that up for you at your school sites. On behalf of PTA Council of PUSD, thank you so much for joining us today for Canvas training. Thank you again to Jennifer Pringle, Family Resource Center, Michael Slominski, and all of you who came today. Please share this information through your networks, your parent groups, your social media links, so we can continue to support every family who may have not been able to get online today. Have a great day and stay safe.
Thank you.